and welcome to Wednesday's RE session. So this term we are going to be looking at an RE unit, which we haven't done this year yet. So it's our first one. And we are going to be looking at the question, do rules matter? So what I want you to do, as we haven't done RE this year, but I know that you did lots last year, remind yourself, what is RE actually about? And there's some pictures, some symbols to help you. So just re-jog your memory. Can you write down in your book a definition of RE? What it is, what it stands for. So pause the video and have a go. Okay, so now that you've re-jogged your memories of what RE actually is, what I want you to do is do a quick 30-second mind map of what religions have we already learned about. So from all your time at school at Wheatfield, now that you're in year 6, you've been through all the years, what different religions have you looked at each year? What ones have you been taught about? So a quick 30-second mind map, as many as you can remember. So pause the video and have a go. Okay, super. So for this unit of work, we are going to be looking at two particular groups beliefs, so two different opposing beliefs on different subjects. So one of the religions, I have put on the screen some pictures as some clues. So having a look at the pictures, do you think you can guess what religion, one of them, are we going to be focusing on and looking at the beliefs of this term? So have a focus, have a little study of the pictures, and then see if you can guess. Okay, hopefully you guessed Christianity, because if you did, woohoo, you're right. So one of the groups of people that we are going to look at about their beliefs are Christians. So we're going to look at Christianity. So on the screen, we've just got some key facts, some key details about the religion in case you didn't know. So the place of origin of the religion is Israel. The founder is Jesus of Nazareth. I'm sure lots of people have heard of Jesus. Their sacred text is the Bible. Some holy places are Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Nazareth, Lourdes, Rome, and Canterbury. Some of the major festivals that Christians celebrate are Easter and Christmas, and their sacred buildings are churches, chapels, and cathedrals. Okay, so that's just a little bit of background knowledge. So we know a bit about Christianity. Some of you may be Christians. Some of you might not have any religion. Some of you might believe in different religions. Okay, but this is one of the main religions we're going to be focusing on today and in this unit. So we're going to look at Christianity. We are also going to look at another group of people's beliefs that are called humanists. So they are grouped together as humanism. Now, you might have heard of them before, you might not have, okay? But for the purpose of our RE unit and for a little bit of a break, a little bit of information, there is a video link on what is humanism on the webpage underneath this one. So what I want you to do is pause the video and have a watch of that video. So you've got some background on humanism as well as Christianity. So pause the video, go to that link, and then come back when you are ready. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at is different people's beliefs. We're going to look at things from a humanist point of view, from a Christian point of view, on different subjects this term. Now, as you may have seen, well, as you will have seen on the first slide, the focus of today's session is the question, do rules matter? Now, you might think you've already got an answer to that one. You might personally believe that rules are good. You might personally believe that rules don't make a difference. But that's what we're going to be looking at today. And we're going to be looking at that in a way that is called a code for living. Now, everybody has a code for living, and a code for living is a set of rules that people live their lives by. Now, they might be rules that are set up by their religion, that their religion follows, and so they follow. Or if they don't have a religion, rules that they've made for themselves. So what I want you to do is have a think about yourself. And what do you think your code for living is? So what rules do you live by? Now, this can also be called a moral code. And morals are standards of behavior of what you think is right and wrong. So what you think is morally wrong and morally right. And lots of different people believe different things. So you might believe that it would be wrong to do something, but somebody else might believe that it would be okay to do that thing. And that is what we're thinking about today, about rules and code for living. Now, so I want you to think about yourself and your rules, what sort of behavior you know or think is wrong and what behavior you think is right. And I want you to just have a quick think about where you think you got those rules from. Is it from your environment? Is it from your parents? Is it rules that you just believe and you know? Is it rules from your religion? So I just want you to quickly have a think about different things that you know are right or wrong, you think are right and wrong, and where you think those rules came from. Just so that you're a little bit aware of yourself while we're doing this session. So what I want you to do is just pause and have a reflection on that and just have a think. You don't need to write anything down, but just have a think. Okay, super. So what we are going to do is have a look at some different characters. So on the screen, there are 3 Disney villains. So hopefully we know who they are. So we've got Ursula from The Little Mermaid. We've got Jafar from Aladdin. And we've got Mother Gothel from Tangled. So all 3 are considered villains in the films. What I want you to do is have a think about these 3 bullet points on the screen. Number 1, what makes each of them bad? Why are they seen as villains? Why are they seen as bad people? Number 2, what rules do they break? And number 3, what does their breaking of code for living lead to? So what happens to them when they break the rules? What happens to them at the end of the film or at the worst moment in the film? Do they all have happy endings? Now, if you aren't aware of these 3 villains, then maybe take some time to research, Google, just basic information about them. But hopefully we're all pretty aware of them in a sense, why they're bad, what they do. So what I want you to do is pause the video and have a think about those 3 questions for each of the villains on the screen, and then come back when you're ready. Okay, so hopefully you came up with some answers. When we're thinking about rules, what I want you to think about, as our whole theme of today's lesson is Do Rules Matter? I want you to think about who made those rules that they broke, who decided on that code for living that caused them to end up bad or as villains. Because that's what we're thinking about today, is who makes these rules? Do they make them themselves? Do other people make them? Okay. So now what I want you to do is have a go at a quick mini task. So on the screen, there are a couple of pictures to help you jog your memory. I want you to write a list of 10 things that you think are naughty. Okay? So really quickly, the first 10 things that come to your mind that you would think of as things that are bad or naughty, so you shouldn't be doing them. So pause the video and write your 10 things in a list and then come back when you're ready. Okay, now you've got your 10 things. And remember, the whole point of the session today is that everybody's 10 things are going to differ slightly based on their code for living and their beliefs. So what I want you to do is have a look at the 10 things that you've come up with, that you've decided, and have a think about these questions, either for each of them, for a couple of them, for all of them. So what are the effects and consequences of these behaviours? So if somebody commits one of these behaviours that you've picked on, what happens to them generally? What happens to them if they did it in the street, if they did it in school, if they did it at home? What would the effects or the consequences be? I also want you to think about what makes an action naughty. Is it the context that it happens in? Are there actions that are always seen to be naughty or bad? Or does it depend on what has happened before that? Does it depend on the person? Does it depend on something else? That's what I want you to think about. And then I want you to think about what rules might help us to be good and make us happy. So if you had to come up with a couple of rules that you think would make everybody happy, that you'd make would make the world a better place, what would they be? So as a quick task, I want you to have a look and write down an answer for each of those 3 bullet points, and then come back when you are ready. Okay, super. So before we move on to our final task, we're going to have a look at the big question. So I want you to think about this. Does being good matter the most in the world? So is the thing that is the most important, is it being good, being a good person? Now this obviously is a big question, a huge question, but I want you to think about it in context to yourself and your beliefs, whether those beliefs are generally, whether they are through a religion. I want you to think about your response. So it's the most important thing in the world to be a good person. And I want you to pause the video. I want you to have a think about the question, and I want you to write an answer to it. It doesn't have to be a long answer, but I want a yes or no and a reason why. Okay, so pause the video and have a go at answering that question. Super. Now, I wish that, like if we were in school, we'd be able to go around and share each other's opinions on this, because I think it would be a really great discussion. Okay, but unfortunately we can't. But please, please, please send me and Ms. Garraway your answers to this question, because we would love to know your opinions and your beliefs. So thinking about our focus religions that we're looking at this term, we're going to think about this question. So does being good matter the most in the world? Now, Christians may say, now remember, different Christians also have different beliefs from each other, but they may say that believing and trusting in God matters more, and that God helps people to be good. So some religions, particularly Christianity, believe that trusting and believing in a higher power is more important than being good, because that higher power helps them to be good. Humanists would disagree, because obviously what we know about humanists, they've got different beliefs. They would disagree. They might think that being good matters the most in the world, or they might not. But they wouldn't agree that believing in a higher power, believing in God for Christians, is more important than other things. Okay? And likewise with your belief that you wrote down, that might be dependent on your religion, or it might be just dependent on your code for living, your beliefs. And there's no wrong answer, there's no right answer. It's your opinion, your belief. So the final task for today is, I want you to grab a new piece of paper, and in the middle I want you to draw a picture of yourself, and it could be just a portrait of your face, it can be a full body picture, it doesn't matter if it's a great drawing, just a picture of you in the middle. And then around the outside, you're going to write all the things that make up your code of living, which is something that I asked you to reflect on at the beginning of the session. So what rules do you live by? What things do you think you should and shouldn't do? And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. It's your beliefs. Okay? And it might be influenced from family, from the environment. It might be influenced from your religion, or it might just be something that you inherently, so you just know, is a rule that you should live by. Okay? And that's all we're going to do today to finish off the session. So a picture of you, and then around the outside, I want all the rules that you live your life by. So what you believe is right and what you believe is wrong. Okay? You don't need to explain them. You just need to write them around the outside. Okay? Like I said before, please, please, please send us a picture of your work, because we would love to be able to read your beliefs. We'd love to be able to discuss them with you when we're back in school and by email. So have a go at this and let us know what you come up with.